Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great SoKool Experience, episode number 9. And I just came back from Bruckner's 8th Symphony at the San Diego Symphony, and it was, what was it? It was overwhelming. That's what it was. I felt like I had accomplished something because I sat there and listened to it. And when it was over, I felt a little bit worn out. And there were people who got up and left before it was over. And I was going to say I don't blame them, but I do blame them. But I understand, because this is a piece of music that will burn your consciousness to the ground if you're not accustomed to that type of mental activity. What the conductor, Maestro Ling, and the orchestra players were experiencing, I have no idea. Their intellectual rigor and mental abilities are apparently world class, because not only did they perform it tonight, they will perform it again tomorrow. And it's, okay, Bruckner's 8th Symphony is not just a long piece of music. It's also a piece of music that has a lot of volume. Not volume as in loud and soft, although it is loud and it is soft and beautiful. But volume is in water flow. Water flow is measured, I believe, in gallons per second, cubic gallons per second. I don't know. I just did that side look where you don't know what you're talking about, and that's like a giveaway. It's a something I learned in my CIA training. It's late, okay? It's late, and my brain is fried from Bruckner's music. So volume. So the sheer amount of music flow, the volume of music flow in Bruckner is significant. And then it's also about 85 minutes long. So that much flow going into our little ears is enough to start to fry the circuits. And some people couldn't handle it and got up and left. And I understand. I'm not compassionate, and I kind of think they're, losers. Oh, it does no good to judge these people, does it? It's not like that's going to bring them back and they're going to listen to the final movement and then think, oh, we're so glad we stayed. They were miserable, so they left. Oh well. Maybe next time, although Bruckner's not on the schedule for next season, which I'll talk about in the next video. The upcoming season has been announced from San Diego Symphony, and it's a good one. The first piece, there were actually 2 pieces of music on the concert. The first piece was a cello concerto by Haydn, and the soloist was Yao Cao, who is the principal cellist for the symphony, and he was the soloist in the Haydn concerto. And I really appreciate and like it when the orchestra players are also the soloists. Haydn is a piece of, pardon me. Once I'm able to edit things, I'll edit the cough out. But look, this week's been really tough technically. Folks, you have no idea what goes into making one of these videos. I obviously didn't. If you want to keep it simple and just use a webcam and a microphone, then it's pretty simple, but then you can't edit your coughs out. Once you start editing stuff out, it gets really complicated. And I'm not just saying that. It's true. So every YouTube video you see that's edited and has effects, that's impressive. It's not Bruckner 8th impressive, but it's impressive. So Haydn, to me, feels like a composer that you always know he's there, but you kind of take him for granted until he's there, and you realize, wow, Haydn's kind of the shit. It's good music, consistently, from start to finish. And the performance tonight was an enjoyable experience. It was beautiful, it was balanced, it was proportioned, it was all those things that classical music is. And I'm saying classical as in the period from which Haydn and Mozart are primarily the two composers we know. So after the Baroque, before the Romantic, classical period, not classical music as in 1750 to 1950. That's just a generic term. But I digress, and I think I'm telling people stuff they should already know if they're watching this video. If you're watching this video and you don't know that, then good for you. You just learned something new. So Haydn, when you're not listening to him, he's like Mozart-like maybe. That's really insulting to someone, I'm sure. But then when you are listening to him, you realize this guy's great all the time. And there we go. Haydn's Cello Concerto. Following that, we had an intermission, and then Bruckner's 8th Symphony, the Apocalyptic is what it's called sometimes. I'm not sure who gave it that nickname. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Bruckner, because Bruckner didn't care about that kind of stuff. Interesting dude. We won't get into the extreme levels of what I'm thinking was his sexual repression. I mean, because we have no context for it. It's just beyond what any of us have probably, hopefully, experienced as far as repression goes. That's all conjecture. That's just me talking. So the performance there was one. Okay, some of the tuning in the final movement, I think the fatigue started to show up a little bit, and some of the tuning got a little bit off. Nothing that. It's a live performance. It's a lot of music. It's a lot of concentration, and it's a lot. I mean, with Bruckner, the players have to be in it all the time. And so, but in the third movement, looking at the program here, the fairlich langsam, doch nicht schleppend, the solemnly slow but not slow movement. So solemnly slow, doch nicht schleppend, no schlepping. So slow but no schlepping. Right as we're approaching the final climax of the movement, the mountaintop of the entire piece, I believe, the French horns were sharp. There, it's been observed. Now we can move on. It didn't. I don't know why I have to mention that kind of stuff. It's not showing off. It just didn't sit right. The one chord, and then it cleaned up, and whatever. The performance was great. Maestro Ling, very much like Haydn, taken for granted until he shows up and conducts Bruckner's 8th the way he did tonight, and you realize this guy's great. He has stepped down as the full-time music director as the conclusion of this season, and this was, in my experience of his conducting, kind of the crowning achievement of his tenure here. Not kind of, it was. It was more than I could have hoped for from a performance of Bruckner's 8th Symphony. The pacing was good. There were times when he kind of ratcheted up the tempo just a little bit. There were times when he really gave the music space. He gave our consciousness time to catch up with all that was happening. It's it's a thing in Bruckner. There's so much going on in the orchestra that if it goes too fast, the experience is diminished. But if it goes too slow, then it's like, I don't know, what's a good example of something that goes too slow? Molasses in winter. I don't know, there you go. But the pacing was the pacing and the transitions between the different sections of the orchestra and the different sections in the music were really elegant and exquisite tonight. It was a fantastic performance, and I just blown away that they're going to do it again tomorrow. So that's going to be the end of this. I didn't storm the heights of communicating what Bruckner's 8th is about, I don't think, but It's better than nothing, folks. So, to those people who left, take a nap next time. I don't know. Okay. Let me look over here to turn the camera off because we're keeping it simple. So I'm having to use just the webcam. Man, so much extra information that no one really cares about except me. Okay, folks. Good night and have a good Sunday tomorrow.